The next principle you need to follow is no casual dating. Either something serious or nothing at all. Listen, if you are in your teenage years or your early 20s, either you go for something serious, no casual dates, no casual flings, stuff like that. Listen, you are a man in your early years. Make something of yourself and either have a partner early on that will support you through that as something serious, or none of this casual Hinge, Tinder, blah, blah, all this bullshit. None of this casual dating bullshit, because let me tell you something, it is taking you away from your best years to build. And the other thing is we live in a very brutal dating culture. I'm gonna be very honest with you. So why be 19 trying to navigate this crazy difficult dating culture where there's successful men all around the world that through Instagram and all of these other mediums have access to all these women? Why would you at 19 try to compete with that? Either you have that serious girl that holds it down for you, or don't try to casual date if you want to casual date and have your fun. And listen, I'm speaking as someone who has had both sides of the equation, and to this day, I still like to have my fun. There's nothing wrong with it, but I put my head down and worked like a dog for years and years. And I remember even being 19, 20 and being a multi-millionaire, and I said to myself, what's the point of me really focusing on women and having fun and enjoying myself with all these women when girls don't want guys who are 19 or 20? And you need to understand this. As a guy, you become most attractive once you get past the age of 25. Really from 25 to 35 is when you're most attractive to women, and it really only starts at 25. So I remember even being 19 or 20 and I'm like, yes, this is great, I'm a multi-millionaire, I'm all these things, but like, let me just keep working. Like, I'm on a roll, I got momentum, let me just keep this going rather than trying to have the most fun and date girls and blah blah and all this crap. So as I said, no casual dating. Either you are dating someone serious that you're like, fuck, this woman could be that day one for me. And by the way, that day one girl, listen, please take this coming from me, there is nothing on earth that is more valuable than that. If you've got a day one girl and you manage to get a day one girl, you know, all these girls on a yacht, private jet, blah, blah. I have done and still do all these things. But I understand that that does not come remotely close to a day one girl who is there from you from the jump, from day one. So either aim for that, because by the way, that is the most valuable thing you could ever get in life. I'm telling you this. So either you get that or just don't casual date, because you are in your building phase. You have so long, especially as a man. And I know I keep talking to men, and I understand that there's I think 10% of my audience is women. And I always do say I make content specifically for men because I grew up without a dad. I had to learn all this shit myself. So that's why I speak to the young men out there. But I know a lot of women still watch my videos and take lessons from men, stuff like that. So as I was saying, keep your head down, keep focused, no casual dating bullshit. And then once you've made something of yourself, pop your head up and then you can have a little bit of fun before eventually, hopefully one day you find your actual queen. Principle number 5 is keep your circle small, but your influence large. And here's what I mean by that. There is nothing wrong with many people knowing you or with you having many acquaintances, but you should have very few friends. And here's the thing, most people in this bullshit fake life don't know the difference between an acquaintance and a friend, because most people don't understand what true loyalty is. They are around people that they don't like. They're around people for clout or money and this and that. And that's why, by the way, it's so important to get yourself strong first. So this way, people later down the line can't throw money or women or clout at you and you're impressed by it. You need to make yourself strong. You need to make yourself a fortress. But back to the point, keep your circle tight, but your influence large. Many people can and should know of you. And I'm not talking about having a massive social media following or this or that. I just mean even in the industry you're in, never unnecessarily burn bridges. Always be very polite and courteous to people, but always understand that you can probably only have a select handful of true friends, true brothers in arms, true people that would love you and do anything for you. That's a very, very small circle. So your circle of influence can and should be large, but keep your actual circle solid and full of good people. The next principle you need to follow is that God will always test you to see what you can handle, and if you can't, he will take it away from you. And this is very, very important, because becoming successful and making your first million in your teens or your early 20s, that's great. Congratulations. Can you keep it now? And not only can you keep it, can you multiply it? Because that's a lot of pressure. Listen, if you make your first $1 million when you're 18 or you're 20 or you're, even 23, that's great, but that's a lot of pressure. Every year after that, can you hold that same standard? So you need to understand that God, if he blesses you, if he gives you that million at a young age, he's gonna see if you can handle it. He's gonna see if you can humble yourself. That's why earlier I told you, have things external in your life that will constantly humble you. Business, martial arts, setting challenges for yourself and seeing if you can accomplish things that really make you dig deep. Because here's the thing, if you don't have these external things to humble you, if you don't humble yourself, God will humble you. And when God humbles you, It's with a ferocity you can't even imagine because you're not ready for it yet. As quickly as it's given, it's taken away, and you need to understand these things. So as long as you go into it with a mindset that when you make your first million, you're not going to be driving around in the G-Wagon and you're going to go to the bank like a idiot and take out $30,000 in cash so that way you can do an Instagram story where you spread all the money in your hands, and now all you do is listen to Lil Baby in your rented G-Wagon and pop bottles at the beach club, and now your business is just on autopilot. God will put you in your place. So before that happens, put other things in place. I've already given a few, but even if you can get an older mentor, an older confidant to look at you and be like, you ain't doing it once is nothing special. You're only a legend if you can do it back to back to back. That's when you're a legend. Now, the last principle to tie it all together is invest early and invest as much as you can. Here is the thing. If you make money at a young age, try to get away from you as soon as possible. I'm talking about property. I'm talking about maybe even buying some physical gold. I'm talking about things where the money can get away from you and it's not easy to sell. Here's the issue sometimes, and I'm not totally opposed to it. Here's sometimes the issue with crypto or stocks. You can buy and sell very easily. You can't buy and sell real estate very easily. So buying things that aren't actually very liquid at a young age, I think later down the line, once you're established, that can actually be a detriment. It actually makes things a little bit more difficult. But when you're a young age, you are your worst enemy. You're probably the biggest reason you're gonna this up. So what you want to do is once you make money, push it away as quick as possible. Because here's the other thing, and once again, I'm talking from experience. When you are young and you make a lot of money, you know what people think? People don't think, oh, well done. People think you got lucky. So there's no point being 19 years old, driving all these supercars and blah, blah, all this stuff, because you're not impressing anyone. People just think you're lucky. That's it. So you're better off taking the money, investing it. And when you're 23, you're 25, you get to an age where people can kind of believe this has happened a little bit more. Maybe, you know, you're 22, but you dress the part and people think you're a little older. And that's when you can enjoy and you can live it up and you can do these things, because when you get out of your supercar, people will actually think that you bought that. But when you're 19 and you look young, people will either think you got lucky, they're gonna think you invested in some pump and dump coin, or they're gonna think daddy's money. So while you're trying to flex, and let's be honest, if you're young and you're buying these supercars, you're probably trying to flex. It's not even having the intended effect. So just tell yourself, you know what? Any money that comes in, I'm gonna invest as much as I humanly can. I'm gonna make myself solid, and I'm gonna enjoy these things a little later down the line. So ladies and gentlemen, I present to you these principles as someone who can speak to you more realistically, because let's be honest, a lot of these YouTube videos you watch online are some 50-year-olds that lived in a different generation and don't understand that, hey, there's nothing wrong with wanting beautiful women around you. There's nothing wrong with wanting money, having nice cars, all these things. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's a way to do it. There's a time and a place. So I'm just coming here and speaking to you guys from experience and trying to meet you guys at where you are, which is not trying to shame you for the things that you want in life, but just telling you that there is a way to do it and there's a right timing to do things. So as I said, I hope this has been of value to you. As a reminder, I'm a little bit more active on that talk with Iman for actual sort of business Q&As. So go ahead and follow that account. And as always, I'm watching from afar and I'm rooting for you.